Brawlers, baby.
You're listening to the Brawlers Sports Boxing Show podcast, starring CEO Rick Muhammad and G Money. The Brawlers Sports Boxing Show podcast.
You are a special guest. Let's start recapping the fight and how you saw it and called it leading up to Saturday night. Go ahead and tell us. Let's recap Wilder and Fury, the trilogy, man. What did you think? Did it happen the way you thought?
Oh yeah. Only thing that didn't happen was my prediction was going the distance. I had predicted it was going to go the distance. You had said it was going to be a knockout. You was right on that. But as far as the beginning of the fight, Wilder did exactly like I said he should do. And that's the blueprint. When you're fighting a tall guy, you go for the body. Wilder established his aggressiveness, his assertiveness. He was looking good in the first round. He was keeping distance. He was landing effective body shots. It was pushing Fury back. And then Wilder shot a 1-2, but he missed it. So Wilder was doing good. I had gave him round one, so I was like, oh, he finally found the right recipe to be on an elite level. But the second round, he came out, he did it again, but then he fell off. He started going back to his old tendency. Sometimes as a boxer, muscle memory. That's why it's always best for fighters to practice, the right fundamentals, the right drills, because in a real fight, you just go back to what you know. And that's what Wilder did. And I believe that's what caused him to fight. His technical flaws, keeping his chin up in the air, head hunting, especially against a target like Fury when he's 6'9". You're supposed to go to his body. And that's why the little corrections that Wilder did make, it was successful and it was a big improvement. I think the whole world got a chance to see it, but his flaws overrode it. But it definitely played out the way I did because, like I said, if you ever did any boxing, muscle memory is key because a fighter works out constantly throwing rhythm punches, the same combination. So it's definitely always best to start with the right combinations and understand it. But I take my hat off to him and Malik Scott for definitely trying to improve. They did improve. And I believe Wilder's definitely going to continue his career because he still has a lot left in the tank. So I'm looking forward to his return against some of the PBC stable mates.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're actually absolutely right. I remember when me and you were speaking earlier in the week leading up to Saturday night, you said, listen, Fury not going to come and jump out on him like he did in the rematch. He going to sit back and let Wilder come to him because Sugar Hill and them want to get a review of what it is that he supposedly had put together to change up his style and grace against him in this trilogy. And that's exactly what he did. But like you said, after about round two, come that third round, Wilder, he backslid, went back to what he know, bad habits. He started slapping and chopping, going for the head. And as you stated, the body was already there. He made that established in round 1 and 2. He should have stuck with that and kept sticking the jab out, keeping his distance like he was doing. So we were both pretty much spot on what we said. But I knew it was going to be a knockout. But you were spot on in what you had said. E. Giovanni, how did this fight pan out for you? Your vision, because me and you spoke earlier during the week, all the way up to fight night as well.
Yeah, I wanted Wilder to win the fight, but knowing boxing, I thought we would see more or less of a repeat of the second fight. And in the first round, Wilder did good. He was throwing the jab to the body, 1-2 to the body, and it was working well. But I think as soon as Fury hit him clean and flush, he went back to his old ways and abandoned the game plan. And I just think Fury imposed his will. And once he started going on the front foot, it seemed that's when Wilder reverted back to his old ways. Because in the first round, it seemed like Fury was kind of thrown off from the body shots.
He was.
And so, it kind of went how I thought it would go. But Wilder showed improvement. He just didn't stick to the game plan.
Yeah, he fought gallantly like a warrior. And he definitely went out on his shield this time. So he got to be happy and proud about that. I think he gained more fans in this fight than he did if he would have won.
Yeah,
You
and one
know,
more thing I want to say too is Wilder has his defense is non-existent. His defense is leaning back, and with somebody like Fury, who's taller and longer reach, that won't work. He was used to doing that and getting away with it versus shorter fighters coming up, but he needs to really work on his defense.
now,
He doesn't even catch punches.
yeah, he wasn't catching and shooting like he was working on in the gym, looking good up on paper and on the floor. Wilder hater, and then what he was doing in the gym, he wasn't catching and shooting and rolling underneath those punches, going to the body, bringing it back up top to the head, like he was doing in his training camp. But now you say you feel like his career is going to continue, and I do too. And PBC opponents and so on and so forth. Will he ever develop the fundamentals, get them right, get them down pat, and come up with a defensive plan?
Yeah,
Or are
because
we
he's
looking
not
at the same Wilder every time?
doing that. That's not a fight between that. Do I need to put headsets in?
If you
Hello,
want
can y'all
to,
hear me?
I can hear you now. It was a little crackly, but right now you're good. You freezing up too. You must be in a bad spot, baby.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. You got a good connection where you at?
I think he froze up.
If you go out, you might have to just come back in. We'll just small talk until you get back in. So if you want to close it out and then come back in, do that. But yeah, Giovanni, what do you think? Do he ever develop the fundamentals, skill set, and will he ever develop a clad iron defense?
I would say no. I think he could get better if he has more training camps and maybe if he had 2 or 3 more fights with Malik to implement the game plan. But I mean, it's so late in his career. I'm not sure if he would implement it the way you would like him to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's been at this game for a minute now, so it's almost like hey, it's hard to do away with bad habits. They say it takes the brain 30 days to make change, but like you said, once he got caught and Fury hit him flush and clean, he went back to his bad habits right away and started headhunting.
Yeah.
I got to hurry up and catch him now and get rid of him.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure if Wilder has a lot to give to the sport still, because his last 2 fights, man, that takes a lot out of a fighter. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
In my opinion, I love Wilder. Like I love what he's brought to the sport, what he's done for the sport. But seeing those last 2 fights, I mean, this past Saturday, that was hard for me to watch, man.
Yeah,
it really was because he took some clean flush punches the whole fight, and that takes a lot out of you. And I worry for his health. And I would like to see Wilder retire. I would. Of course, that's up to him, but he's done enough for the sport. And he gave a hell of a he showed tremendous heart, and he had no quit in him on Saturday. In the 4th round, he was close to getting Fury out of there. But, man, what can you say about Tyson Fury? That man, he's got a tremendous heart as well. Complete fighter, the whole package.
Yeah, and I mean, it was electrifying. It was electrying in the stadium. Fans went crazy every time Fury landed. Fans went crazy every time Wilder landed. When Wilder had success in the 4th round and knocked Fury down twice, the crowd went crazy. I mean, people were literally on their feet, chanting. And so, that being said, I mean, I really thought we was gonna see things change in the fight when Wilder dropped him twice, and Wilder probably felt that way too, because I could see his adrenaline and his confidence really got uplifted, and everything. He was really, really excited at that point that he had finally got him to drop.
Yeah, he was, and it's from the 4th round on. That's when everything went sideways for Deontay, and that's when Tyson Fury took over and implemented his game plan that him and Sugar Hill had, which was a great one. I think part of their game plan was they kind of knew Wilder would fatigue at some point. You know, I believe it was after the first or second round, Sugar Hill told Tyson Fury, okay, you see he's tired now. So, you know, they just, you know, eased into it, and then, you know, Fury took control and started coming on the front foot.
So, yeah, and what was up with that? Because I felt Wilder looked fatigued, like going into the third and fourth rounds, with his mouth was open and everything. Did he overshoot himself in the fourth round? You know, but in the third round,
No, in the third round, yeah, he was tired in the third round. I think Wilder would be able to answer that best.
All right, the player haters back. You back, baby? I hope you got some good connectivity, man. We you froze. You keep freezing up. You say you backstage. Where you at, man? Close your mouth.
You see?
I can see you, but you frozen. See, that's why I wanted you to come on early so we can make sure you had good data, because obviously you in a dead spot, brother. So we go keep it moving. He'll figure it out. But yeah, I felt like, you know, Wilder was fatigued. Fury started turning it on too. Like after he got knocked down in that second round, round 5, he came out for Wilder.
Yeah, he did. And
he came out and he stayed on him from that round on.
Yeah.
And all the way up to the 11th round. It seemed like Fury was just on point. At that point, I'm sure Sugar Hill was telling him, you know, he didn't hurt you. Snap out of this. Come on.
Yeah, I think at any point it was just a matter of time before, you know, Fury got Deontay out of there. And you know, I just think the size had a big factor. You know, Tyson Fury being 6'9", almost 300 pounds. You know, him leaning on him and holding him, that takes a lot out of Deontay Wilder. And you know, he has a lot of veteran tricks. Tyson does. You know, he'll lean on him, and refs on the opposite side, he hit him with an uppercut on the opposite hand. Ref can't see it. Just a lot of veteran tactics that he used, and he just implemented his game plan very well.
So now, Wilder hater, you back? You back in? I can see you moving a little bit. Say something.
Unmuted. Maybe you're muted.
You got it mute on, unmuted. We can't hear you. Can't hear you. He in a bad spot. Yeah, he must be in a bad. So now let me ask you this. Fury is going to probably fight the winner of Usyk and Joshua 2 rematch. Now, let's say Fury beats Joshua and takes that fight. Wilder's going to be number 1 again to fight the winner of Joshua Usyk. And let's say it's Joshua,
Fury, yeah.
And then Joshua fights Fury and beats Fury beats Joshua. Now we're gonna end up getting a 4th fight of Wilder Fury. Wilder gonna do different in a 4th fight?
Yeah, I think if Tyson Fury and Deontay fought 100 times, Tyson Fury will win 100 times, 99 times. I don't think there's much Wilder can do to defeat Tyson. He's had 3 chances, and it's just proven that Tyson is the better fighter, you know?
All right, we can hear you. Are you moving? Let me see. I don't know if you got any movement there, man. You're in a real dead spot, bro.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, but I can't see you moving around. All right. So, yeah. So, like you said, he can fight Fury 100 times, and you'll get the same results. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I think. And I think Fury. I don't really see anybody giving him much competition in the heavyweight division right now, and that includes Joshua and Usyk. I don't. I mean, Usyk is what, 6'4", natural cruiserweight.
Yeah, he's too small for Fury, man.
I mean, think about what Fury's going to do to him. I mean, yes, granted, Usyk has much better boxing technique and skill than Deontay, but I don't think that'll matter versus Fury.
And Frank Warren and Bob Arum were already talking about Usyk fighting Fury, so that fight's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think it will happen.
It's gonna fight. They're gonna fight in the UK, and they're gonna sell out, and they both gonna make a lot of money. But
Hmm.
I just don't see Usyk bringing nothing to the table to trip Fury up and defeat him. I don't see that happening at all.
Yeah, I don't see that happening at all either.
Small, way too small. But let's
Hmm.
talk about some of the other fights that happened. Edgar Berlanga, as you all know, he was 16-0 for a minute with 16 straight one-round knockouts, and then in fight 17, he went the distance. And then and also this last fight this past weekend, he got dropped in the ninth round. And that was probably a good test for him and for Bob Arum to see how would he act and how well of a chin he has. And he got up and maintained his composure and his poise, and he went on to win the decision. What's your thoughts on Berlanga now that he's gone 2 fights the distance thus far?
I think Edgar Berlanga, they need to keep moving him slow. I see he likes to call out the big names, like he's ready for them. He's not.
Not ready. He's too
He's
good.
not ready at all. And if they do happen to put him in there with one of these top guys, he's going to get badly hurt. So, yeah, if I was top rank, I'd continue moving him slowly because I just don't see him competing with any of the top guys at 168. I just don't. Power only gets you so far once you get to that next level.
That's true. But like you say, move him slow. He's still green. He's learning. Let him continue to learn. But he can call out all the names he wants. Bob Arum has to know that he's not ready.
Yeah, he knows.
That money will be there. Let's get the training and the experience under your belt first.
There you
There
go.
you
Yeah,
go.
yeah, we got you now.
Put it in the car anyway, brother. You gotta have that connectivity, baby.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I had to come to the car, man. I don't know what happened. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you and see you. Perfect.
Okay,
So-
okay, yeah, sorry for that. I didn't know what was going on.
No, that's good. So we want to get your take. You said Wilder needs to fight other PBC candidate heavyweights. Does Wilder, he becomes number 1 now and possibly fights the winner of Usyk Joshua. Let's say it's Joshua. Then Joshua fights Fury. Fury beats Joshua. Now we got a 4th fight with Fury Wilder all over again. Do you see that happening? We go on your Christmas list. You got to get a new phone, brother.
Yeah, I'm still.
Yeah, you're in a bad spot, man. You're killing us. You're killing me. You're killing me, Wilder hater. You still froze. But anyway, let's keep it moving. We gotta keep it moving. I can't wait on the Wilder hater. So we talking about Berlanga. We was talking about what about that FA?
Yeah, Frank Sanchez versus F8.
Frank Sanchez, that was a hell of a fight. Sanchez is a bad boy.
Yeah, he's a Cuban school, highly skilled, has a beautiful jab. That's one thing I really noticed that stood out to me was his jab was nice and crisp.
And he light on his feet. He moves
very light. He moves like a middleweight, very light on his feet. I was most impressed with him when we're talking skills on that card. I thought he had the most skill set aside from Tyson Fury.
Yeah. That's the same thing I said. And I don't know if he's ready for the bigger heavyweights yet. He in his turn, he's not ready for a fight with Fury or anybody like that yet either.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
He's up and I think Frank Sanchez is going to be the first Cuban heavyweight champion of the world one day soon.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, and I believe that. So we talking about Frank Sanchez
based on the style. I don't think he can beat none of the elite fighters.
Say that again.
Yeah, you think he can beat some of the elite fighters?
Not right now. I think he's too early for he couldn't beat somebody like a Fury or somebody like that. But I think he's coming. He's definitely on the upside.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, Frank Sanchez. I don't think anybody beats Tyson Fury right now, but I think he's. I think he could beat the guys like Adam Kanaki and Robert Helenius, those kind of
Can he
guys. I
beat
think
Ortiz? Luis Ortiz? Can he beat Ortiz?
that would be a really good fight.
Yeah, good fight.
It would be a highly skilled chess match.
Humans?
You know what? I can't say. That would be a good fight. I can't call that one. I would really say that's a 50-50 fight. But Ortiz, I mean, he's faced Wilder, so he's faced better opposition. But I mean, I don't know. I think I lean Sanchez in that fight actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, that'd be a really good fight.
Yeah, that would definitely be a good fight. And let's talk about the real big baby Jared Anderson fight.
Oh yeah.
Where do you see him at? Of course, he's up and coming, a prospect. Definitely still learning. He's still a little green, but he still comes out and puts in work, and he can create and cause a lot of damage.
Yeah, he's a really good fighter. Another heavyweight with tremendous skill, from what I've seen, and I think they keep moving him the way they're moving him. Eventually, he's going to be a force in the heavyweight division because he was Tyson Fury's sparring partner, and Fury spoke very highly of him. And Frank Sanchez and Big Baby Anderson, that's a big fight down the line. I'd like to see a chess match, two highly skilled heavyweights going at it.
Yeah. Take your mute off. You got your mute on because I'm looking at your little mute line. You got the mute on. You can't hear me. Take your mute. Wild Hater, you got your mute on.
I think it's still freezing a little bit.
But I see his mute thing. He's got the line.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see.
On mute. Take it off of mute. We're going to have to figure it out. You're still on mute. But yeah, that'd be a good fight. Luis Ortiz, Frank Sanchez, that'd be a hell of a fight. I would love to see that. Jared Anderson, up and coming prospect, did his thing this past weekend. Take it off of mute. You did it, and then you put it back on. Tap it. Hey, there you go. All right, can you hear me? All right, we're moving right along. As you know, we also had the pleasure of speaking with Bud Crawford and Showtime Sean Porter. They had their official press conference announcing their November 20th fight at Mandalay Bay at the, I believe it's called the Michelob Arena, Mandalay Bay. I asked Bud personally off before the press conference, what can the fans expect? He said victory. Victory. So, they both was, talking about how they've been knowing each other since the amateurs and this, that, and the other. And Bud's like, you ain't never been in the ring with nobody like me. But they respect Porter, based on all the big fights he's had. And Kenny Porter, of course, is, hyping him as his son, saying that, he ain't no slouch. He's an elite welterweight. Because Sean Porter fought 65, I believe, in the amateur. So he's a legit 147, all day.
Yeah.
So how do you see this fight? How do you see this fight panning out?
Initially I was thinking Bud's gonna run right through him, but it will be competitive and tough, I think, in the early rounds. But I think Terrence will make the necessary adjustments in that fight.
Yeah.
And I think his distance will be the difference in that fight because he's very good at controlling distance. And I actually think a lot of people think, and it's true, if he just outboxes Sean Porter on the outside, he'll make it much easier. But Bud has that dog in him. And I think when Porter gets rough and gets going, I think he's going to bring it right back to him. So I think it's going to be a hell of a fight, man. But I still think that Sean Porter is going to run into a big shot. And I think Terrence stops him. I'm not saying he knocks him out cold or nothing like that, but I can see
he might put him on his ass though.
Right, yeah, and I could see possibly the referee stopping it at some point.
Yeah. Wilder Hater, you on now? Can you hear us? Every time he seems like he back good, he fades out on us. We got to get him back on the show because this was a bust for him. Yeah. He keeps going out and coming back in. But I feel the same way. I feel like Bud has too much of weaponry and an arsenal of weapons, if you will. And I think he's going to definitely display why everyone should give him the respect as the pound for pound on November 20th. All the doubters and things that they saying about Bud, he ain't fought nobody, blah, blah, blah. You're going to see how well his resume really is when he gets Sean Porter in front of him.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to earn everything he gets with Sean Porter because, I mean, Sean Porter's not gonna stop, and it takes a lot. He's not gonna lay down. So whatever he gets, he'll earn it. But I think he'll pull off that TKO. I think.
Let's see if I can get him on here. He's trying. He's trying to say something. I don't know if it's his phone. His phone, he got a bad phone. It's time to upgrade, baby. It's time to upgrade. Can you hear us? I apologize to all my viewers. I had a treat for y'all with my man, the Wilder hater. He had a whole lot to say about this weekend, too. We seem to be having technical difficulties with it. I see he's trying to say something, but we can't hear him. I see him looking at me. But anyway, to keep that moving, November 20th, we're all looking forward to that. Let's move right on along to Shakir Stevenson versus Herring, Jamal Herring. That fight's coming up as well. And I know you and me both that we like Shakir Stevenson. I'm going to still stick with that.
Yeah.
The younger fighter, I feel he got a little higher IQ than Herring. And he's just a better boxer overall. No disrespect to Herring. He's the people's champion. He's paid his dues. He's earned his title and his fate in the division. But I still got to go with Shakir Stevenson.
Yeah, for sure. I think Shakur Stevenson will win a unanimous decision. One thing Shakur does really good is he controls distance better than anybody I've seen in boxing today. His footwork is amazing, but his control of distance in his fights, that's what separates him. High IQ, very good defense, fundamentally sound. Shakur is the complete package in boxing. He really is.
Yeah, no doubt. And then I wanted to hear what so shifting back and forth between Wilder and Fury. Andre Ward said that in his opinion, Fury is pretty much in control to do whatever it is he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Who he wants to fight, when he wants to fight, and so on and so forth. Because technically, he's in the driver's seat right now in the heavyweight division.
I mean, Fury could retire today, and you gotta. It's an argument that he's the greatest heavyweight of all time, in my opinion. And in my opinion, he's the greatest heavyweight I've ever seen inside the ring.
Yeah, no doubt.
Probably an unpopular opinion to a lot of people who, came up watching the fights in the 80s and the 90s. But, I'm a boxing student of the game, and I've seen all the past former heavyweight champions. And I just think Tyson Fury, if you put him in there with all the great heavyweights, I think he'll come out on top.
Now, a lot of journalists and boxing fans and analysts, whatever they think they are out there, say that they, show them who Fury has fought resume-wise for him to be praised the way that they're praising him.
Okay, yeah. You can make that argument, but what I'll say to that is let's just talk about Deontay Wilder, and then I'll get to it. But Deontay Wilder arguably is the most devastating one-punch knockout artist of all time. Hate it or love it, that's a fact. Arguably, and Tyson Fury has walked through the fire with that. And Tyson Fury dethroned arguably one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, which was Vladimir Klitschko. And he dethroned him when he was on his reign. So he has an argument, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
He does. And he's such a complete fighter. I think people forget Tyson Fury is known as a boxer, a pure boxer.
Yeah.
The Wilder Fury first fight, he outboxed him completely, showed his boxing ability, his skills, his defense, technique, skills, all the above. And then from second to third Wilder fight, he changed his game plan completely, and walked Wilder down, the hardest hitting puncher ever. Walked him down and stopped him in devastating fashion. For me, the last fight on Saturday, the trilogy, it was really hard to watch. Like I said, it was it reminded me of a beating like Mayweather Gotti of a heavyweight division because I mean that was a hell of a performance in my opinion. He hit Wilder with some serious shots.
Or Margarito Cotto.
Oh, Margarito Cotto, something like that. It was a hell of an offensive performance, and a lot of people felt that Fury didn't look as good in this trilogy, but I thought he looked great. And they probably say that because he got knocked down, but his game plan was to get Wilder out of there. So, you know, if you're walking somebody down, you put yourself in a position to get put down. But he got up, and hats off to him, and hats off to Wilder. He's a hell of a fighter, a warrior, tremendous heart. He was tired and fatigued after the third round, and kept coming and gave it his all. And my hats off to him. Another great all-time fighter, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Take nothing from my man D. He went in there, he stood up. He could have fought anybody. He could have took the step aside money, got a lesser fight, made $40 million, got a knockout, got his self-esteem up, then came back and fought the winner of Fury Joshua that he wanted to block. He said, damn that step aside money. My heart is with Fury, and I want this fight badder than y'all know.
And he did, yeah.
That fight. And he took that fight. Can't take nothing from him. He ain't no punk. He don't duck and dodge. He say he want to fight the best, and that's what he gets in the ring and do. And no matter what that outcome is, he knows what he's facing. He knows what the consequences are in this sport, the sacrifices that he makes to get in that ring before fight night. Him and his team, everybody knows this. If you're a fighter, you know what that comes with. Boxing is one of the most deadliest sports. You could leave your whole life on the line, laying in the ring at the end of that fight.
Absolutely. He has nothing to be ashamed of. He should keep his head up high because he's a true warrior, and I think he gained more fans.
Absolutely, man. I mean, the fans loved it. They applauded him when he exited the ring. He waved at everybody. And, he's just a stand-up dude. A lot of people are, they kind of like bashing him for not being a good sportsman, shaking Fury's hand at the end of their trilogy match. And, they felt like that was like a black eye for boxing. But it's boxing. I mean, shit, he ain't running for president with Fury. If he feel like he don't want to shake his hand, sportsmanlike conduct, you can question that or not. They just have bad blood.
Yeah.
There's fights out there like that, and they're not going to be civil and respectful and honorable to one another because they have a big dislike there.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't knock that. This ain't a gentleman's. It is a gentleman's sport, but it's not a gentleman's sport because it's an individual sport.
They had a lot of bad blood. Wilder felt the way he felt about what he feels Fury did.
Yeah.
Did or did not do to him.
Yeah, people on Facebook were saying, "Oh, he's a poor sportsman." I was like, "No, they just had bad blood, and based on all the allegations and what Wilder felt happened and transpired in the second fight, and then all the trash talking they both did to one another in this third fight." At the end of the outcome, Wilder felt like, damn you, I ain't shaking your hand. That's his prerogative. No. It doesn't make him a bad person. He still is the people's champion in a lot of people's eyes.
I agree.
A lot of people want him to be world champ again. I want him to be the world champion again. You want him to be the world champion again. He's good for boxing. Shit.
He is. I have a lot of respect for Deontay Wilder. And I also have a lot of respect for Tyson Fury. They put on, a fight that everybody will remember forever.
Absolutely.
History.
Now, where are we moving right along to? I see. Let's talk about Caleb Plant and Canelo. It looks like that fight is still in the making. I saw the poster and the billboard flashing on the MGM banners outside. So, obviously, Team Plant has not pulled out of that fight because, Canelo said he doesn't want to take the VADA testing. So I guess they're okay with that. Excuse me.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that fight as well. like I say, I'll say it again. I think Caleb Plant has a lot of tools to give Canelo problems. You know, I'm rocking with him, and I would like to see him win this fight, but he has a tall task ahead of him. You know, and I think the tell of that fight for Caleb Plant will be how does he handle Canelo's power once he gets touched.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty much the tell of the tape for me.
That's for everything because you don't know
Yeah,
till you get hit by a Canelo. You know, you could feel like I'm the number one top fighter in the super middleweight division until you get chin tested and get chin checked. Now, you don't know really how your stamina is going to withhold or what your chin is made of till you actually take a good shellacking on it.
that's a fact.
Everybody that you fought thus far was not the powerful Canelo.
And I think we'll know how that fight's going to play out when that moment happens. And it all depends on how Caleb Plant takes it. You know, I know Canelo's a heavy hitter, man. But if Caleb can take it, you know, and still fight through and not survive, he could win the fight.
He takes that shot and Canelo plants his foot right and it throws his weight and his torso and pivot properly. And I mean, hit him with the kitchen sink. And you know that punch normally knocks everybody out of the race. And he gets up. Shit, he might have figured out the blueprint on how to beat Canelo.
Yeah. And when you say that, knowing Canelo Alvarez, when you say it like that, when he plants and throws like he always does,
yeah,
it is hard to imagine him not getting the knockout because he's such a heavy hitter, man.
Right.
But like I said, I like Caleb Plant and I like his style, and I think
he's good.
His jab,
boxing too.
Yeah, his jab is going to be the key in this fight because he has a tremendous jab, and I think that'll be the key for him to get the victory. Is keep Canelo at the end of his jab and make sure he uses his footwork when he needs to.
Good analogy, G Money. And then now we got December 6th, Gervonta Tank Davis is scheduled to fight. We do not know who as of yet. The opponent is to be announced.
No. It's been announced already. It's still Rolly. That's announced now.
It's still Rolly. Okay,
I
thought Rolly pulled out, but
no.
I'm really shocked that fight is still happening because I feel like Rolly is still too green to get in the ring with the likes of Tank.
No, I agree 100%. And nobody's giving Rolly a chance because Tank is the man. And that's a fact. But one thing I want people to remember is a guy by the name of Ricardo Mayorga.
Yep.
And Rolly reminds me a lot of him. No skill, just basically in there street fighting, punching wild. And that's what Ricardo Mayorga did. And what great fighter did he beat doing that? Vernon Forrest. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
You know? And he beat Vernon Forrest. So I'm just saying, you know, boxing is a crazy game. And, you know, one thing Rolly can do is he can punch. He got some pop. But, I mean, of course, I think Tank's going to win and he should get him out of there. But, you know, anything's possible inside that ring.
Anything's possible in boxing. You know, that's what I try to tell everybody. Anything's possible in boxing, baby. And, you know, on any given night, the best can be upset. The best have lost. Ali have lost. You know, Ali, everybody. Frazier lost. Foreman's lost. Tyson's lost. Holyfield's lost. The best.
Yeah.
You know, but they endure. They come back and they live to fight another day. And they come back better than ever. And they get their vindication. And they get their 2-time, 3-time, 4-time world champion status.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say about that fight, too, is Rolly's not scared of Tank. He really thinks in his mind he could beat him. And
Same way Fimo thought in his mind he could beat Lomachenko, and he did.
And a fighter who really believes in himself is a dangerous fighter. So, you know, you never know what could happen in the sport.
Very dangerous fighter. And so now I see that I just got an email from Top Rank saying that Arthur Beterbiev, 175-pound light heavyweight champ, is scheduled to fight former Olympian Marcus Brown. Going to fight Marcus Brown December 17th. You back, baby? Can you hear? Let me hear you.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, we got the Wilder hater. He's back in the building. So I wanted to ask you because we're gonna backtrack now because you guys are gonna hear what this guy has to say. Wilder Fury 4. If Joshua beats Usyk in the rematch, and then Fury beats Joshua, Wilder's number one again. So he's going to get a fourth fight with Fury if that happens. Does that pan out like that? And if that fight comes around, what would can Wilder do anything differently, or is this just one of those styles make fights and Fury pretty much has his number?
No, I just believe I don't believe they're gonna fight for the fourth time. I believe Wilder and AJ gonna fight.
That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, because I don't believe Fury gonna hold around for a long time. I think if Fury wins I think Fury gonna wait until AJ gonna beat Usyk. I believe that AJ styles make fight. AJ is the bigger boxer and the better boxer. He didn't let his hands go in the first fight, so I think in the second fight, like he did with Andy Ruiz, he will be victorious. And then him and Fury gonna have that big fight over maybe in the UK, because you know, the Britain fans or the English fans definitely deserved it. They definitely support their fighter, and it's definitely supposed to have 100 and some plus thousand in attendance for that fight. So that fight is definitely going to take place, in my opinion, over there. It should. And I believe Wilder gonna be over here sharpening his tools, because I think he's very pleased with what he has did, him and Malik Scott. I'm not pleased because I know Wilder can do better. I know Wilder should have won the fight if he'd have went to the body more consistently and not headhunting until Fury stepped into the line of fire. That's all Wilder has to do is remember that. Make sure he lands the target. The target is the heavyweight chest, because he don't want to miss him, and then they bull rush him and push him back, and then make his legs weaker, or wrestling with him, or he smother his punches. Then he get to doing that whirlwind. So when Wilder realized that, I think he'll be all right. I think he's gonna fight again, maybe Andy Ruiz on the PBC side. I wanted Wilder to have like a little tournament. He should come back now since he lost against Fury. He should do a tournament, and he's the prize. If one of them boys can knock him off, then they will be the next sensation. But over on the PBC side, Wilder should do a little tournament while AJ and them is trying to settle their dust between him and Fury, because they might have a trilogy, not a trilogy, but a rematch over there with AJ, because they can get big money. So Wilder might have to wait at least 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So I like that tournament. I made a video on that. And plus, Wilder is Bomb Squad's promotion. He should focus in on that aspect, and then he can sharpen his skills up. So now, I just believe that's how it should.
Who would he put in that pot in that tournament? Definitely Andy Ruiz. Would you put Luis Ortiz in there too? Throw Ortiz back in there?
And you could put Adam Konowski back in there, because Adam is a big seller over in the Barclays Center. And you can mix and match him with another opponent to just try to work him back, because all them boys is coming off losses. You got, besides Andy Ruiz, he just beat Chris Arreola, but them boys is coming off losses. So all them could do like that tournament like I had predicted.
Chris Arreola and Charles Martin.
Yeah, yes. Yes, so that would be exciting, and then they can really fight it out between each other and see if Wilder still has anything that's left, or see if he's still the same. You know, if he can get tier 2 guys out of there. And then once the dust settles, then by then he should be able to recreate himself again as the Bronze Bomber. So I think that's the best way in the financial way to go for Deontay Wilder when he come back.
I think that's a good analogy. Talk to us a little bit about.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about what your thoughts are on Porter versus Bud, November 20th at Mandalay Bay.
Oh, that's gonna be an electrifying fight. I'm excited for that. Two black fighters fighting for supremacy. You know, the state they claim as the best fighters. I'm always rooting for Sean and Kenny Porter. You know, they're from the land, Cleveland, Ohio. I'm from Toledo, Ohio.
Right.
But hopefully this time Sean Porter, Kenny Porter can overcome that jinx. It's like the fumble. I don't know if y'all remember When Cleveland was going in to win the game against Denver Broncos and John Elway, right at the end zone, and his biker fumbled the ball. So it seemed like Sean Porter then fumbles the ball, in top fights when they fought Cal Brook. They lost that because all the holding, unnecessary holding. And then when they fought Keith Thurman, I thought Sean Porter was right there at it until he made that separation. And that's where Keith Thurman got the edge on it. He was landing more clean, effective shot once Sean let him off the ropes. And then when he fought Earl Spence, I just knew he beat Earl Spence. He was going good until he stayed in the pocket too long, and Earl clipped him with that left hook.
Yep.
So it just like Kenny and Sean always fumbled the ball. But hopefully this time against Bud Crawford, they can get it right. Because Bud is a tricky one. Even though his competition that a lot of people be saying is not the A+ type fighters like Sean has fought. But Bud still has mechanics that can make this fight tricky because Bud can go in and out, give angles, turn, throw hooks, different combinations. So Sean and Kenny definitely going to have to come with a great game plan to beat him. And in my opinion, Sean got to box Bud a little more to get Bud to plant on his feet, but come forward in aggressive style against Bud. Because Bud, sometimes he like to jab hard, or sometimes like a light jab so he can step back and try to counter you. Because Bud can work off that back foot pretty good. So Sean got to keep coming to make Bud open up.
But Sean ain't really a boxer.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Sean ain't really a boxer though.
No,
he
but you gotta. This why. But you can't just bull. Sean can't not just bull in because Tim Bradley. I don't know if y'all remember the rumors and the stories that Tim Bradley always bragged about Bud Crawford being a good fighter because Bud used to kick his butt and Tim Bradley was like a champion or a highly ranked guy. And their styles is kind of similar. Tim Bradley, a brawler, his height is compatible with Sean. So with Tim Bradley trying to brawl with Bud. Say that again.
Now we listening. Go ahead. You on. Keep on.
Good.
Yeah, you fade in a little bit. Keep talking.
Goodbye.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Dang.
Go ahead. Finish. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's very. That's why Sean has to. That's why he has to box in this fight because you want Bud to get comfortable shooting a jab out, so Sean could get his feet planted, and then Sean could bull rush him, and then work on the inside because you got to offset Bud. You can't just bull in against Bud because Bud got good foot movement and angle, so you got to mix it up. It's like Mean Green Machine did, because Bud can be outboxed. Sean to use boxing skills because that's what the name of this sport is, boxing. You can't just be all the win on the elite level. So you got to set up traps by thinking letting him think he gonna be able to get shots off on you, and then you get in his chest. And then by the time he try to open up those 74-inch arms, Sean to be inside, going to the body. Sean definitely has to throw to the body because he got to get his net percentage up. Sean usually throw a punches, but head hunt and miss. But he definitely has to touch.
You must have moved. You fading out on us. Move to another location right quick.
Yeah. It's very.
Can't hear you. You fade out, baby. Well, we was talking about right before he came in, Arthur B2B and Marcus Brown, former Olympian in 2012. What do you think about that fight? That's going to be a tough fight for Marcus Brown.
Yeah, it is. When I had seen Marcus, Is he back?
He in and out. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, but Marcus Brown, I had seen him fight a few fights ago. Not the one versus Pascal. I forgot who he fought before that, but I was impressed with his boxing ability. He had a lot of skills at the light heavyweight division, but I think Beterbiev he's just different, man. He's very strong. He's a force at that weight class, and I think he's gonna just kind of walk right through him. You know, that's pretty much what he does to everybody.
I kind of feel the same way, and plus the fact that Marcus Brown has been inactive for as long as he has been, uh, that's probably not a smart fight for him to take coming back from being laid off with all that ring rust. That's just not smart. After he hasn't fought since he lost to Jean Pascal, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, it's been at least 2 years.
That fight could end real bad for him. You know,
It could be a retirement fight.
It could, because Beterbiev is seriously no joke, man. And I think the only person who has a real shot of beating him would be Canelo. And that'll be a hell of a fight and a tough fight for Canelo as well, man, because Beterbiev, he's the truth.
I agree, 100. Let's see if my man, you moving around. You back. You got the aluminum foil on the antenna.
Yes.
Wow,
It pops in when it wants to. Yeah, can you hear me?
So, yeah. So go ahead and finish closing out on Porter and Bud, and then I want you to talk about Marcus Brown and Beterbiev.
Okay, like I was saying about Bud and Sean, because if you remember carefully, Gamboa, he's an excellent boxer at 5'5".
Here we go.
So he can be outboxed. Bud can be outboxed. And Sean has to use boxing and give Bud a false target so he can get inside on him. That's what you have to do with some fighters, because it was just like Tyson used to fight the guys who could move on the back foot. You know, they made it difficult for them just to win. So that's what I'm saying with Sean them and Kenny them. They have to realize Bud is that off the back. All those so to get him planted, and then Sean can match Bud. A short fighter definitely can height and is short against a tall fighter, a classic boxer. So that's what Sean gonna have to do, and Kenny them to be successful.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your take on. Let's talk about Tank and Rolly. Talk about Tank and Rolly. Let's about Beterbiev. Tank and Rolly.
Marcus. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we still here. We waiting on you. Tell us about that. Tell us about Tank Davis and Rolly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Beterbiev and Marcus. Yeah. Who Tank? What'd you say?
Tell us about Tank and Rolly.
Marcus.
Beterbiev and Marcus Brown and Tank and Rolly.
Oh yeah, Tank and Rolly. That's gonna be okay. I'm gonna start with Marcus Brown and Beterbiev first, then I'm gonna go to the Tank. As far as Marcus Brown has the perfect style upset Arthur. But I heard I was just told promotion a real. That's why he's 15-0 or 15-0 with 16 knockouts. He is the truth as far as his power. I don't know about Marcus Brown mental aspect, because you know, with those DVs, those domestic violence, and he ain't fought in a while on a high level. You know, I don't know how he is, but his style-wise, Marcus Brown can upset him. I like his range. I like his move. I when Marcus is at his best, his southpaw. He just have to be disciplined and focused because Peter Veep gonna walk into a lot of shots that Marcus Brown could set up. Because Marcus Brown definitely has good movement. When hopefully Gary Starks and Andre Rozier have him on the A game because he's definitely going to need that against Peter Veep. So, but I like the style matchup. Only thing I like about it, he's fighting over in Peter Veep's hometown, Montreal, I think, Canada. So, but that's definitely a style matchup. I like Marcus Brown chances against him. Plus, Peter Veep is 36 years old. He done got older now. You know, it's now or never for Marcus Brown. Marcus done had a bad rap.
Yep.
He let Pascal beat him. Then the Miles, you know, so then he was supposed to fight Zorro, and that didn't come through. So this is it. This is do or die for Marcus.
This is his retirement fight.
Staten Island, Marcus. Interesting fight. Rolly, we're gonna make it interesting for the first maybe 5 or 6 rounds. Yeah, because his style, his aqua style. Plus, if he jump out and then drop a straight right hand, because Tank got to come into the bigness of Rolly. So Rolly should be sitting back, setting traps. You can walk Tank down, but you can't get too close to him because you don't want to smother your reach against Tank because Tank is quick. But Rolly definitely can make it out. He's not your regular conventional fighter. So usually fighters is programmed. They used to traditional setup and stuff like that. Rolly do things as go backwards, so he does it in a different way. So I see this fight going maybe later, about 8-9 rounds.
8 rounds, yeah.
Somewhere like that, because I believe Rolly is bigger and his awkwardness going to try to offset Tank. So Tank going to have to walk Rolly down. Tank going to use a high guard to walk Rolly down and start digging to his body. And by the 8th or 9th round, stop Rolly. That's how I predict it. Tank using a high guard and dig into Rolly's body to knock him out.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, man, we gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for making an effort and still logging back in and giving us that time because you could have just checked out on us, but we appreciate you coming on and diligently trying to clock in with the phone. Huh? Look, I still can't hear what he said. What you say? Hey?
I think he said anytime.
Okay, my man.
Say that again. I can hear you now. Say that again.
Thank you for your time and still diligently coming in. Even when you was having bad reception, you still made an effort to come back in and give us as much clarity as we could get from you out of the fights that you spoke about. We appreciate you, man.
Oh, sure. Man, I love the fight. So anytime.
We're gonna start having you on a regular basis.
Thank
Giovanni, you got anything in closing?
No, that's it.
Well, we want to thank our special guest, my man, the Wilder Hater, my man Eric. He's from Toledo, Ohio, and he was dropping it like it was hot on y'all just now for what we could grasp from him, you know. But he'll be back on as a special guest next week. Maybe we can get him back on here under better conditions, better circumstances, if you will. But that's it for the show right now. It's your boy Rick Muhammad, Brawler Sports Media in the building. This is the Brawler Sports Boxing Show. My co-host G Money, my main man, the Wilder Hater, Eric from Toledo, Ohio. Thanks for your time and thanks for joining us. Hope all of you out there enjoyed it too, and the breakdown and the recap of this past weekend's great fights. Till next time, let's go, champ.
Brawlers, baby.